Hello, everyone. Welcome to part one of the simple past tense. In the first 8 videos, I explained simple present tense. Now, this is the beginning of the simple past tense. In this chapter of the simple past tense, we are going to, of course, look at the simple past tense verb to be sentences and also the simple past tense verb sentences. Okay? Now, before we get started with the different types of sentences under the simple past tense, let us first understand when do we use the simple past tense. We need to first know in which situations do we use the simple past tense. That's the first question we need to answer. Without any further ado, let us get straight into the topic of the simple past tense. My name is Chris, and I will be your teacher for this chapter on simple past tense. Let's jump straight into it. So, as I said earlier on, we need to first answer this question. When do we use the simple past tense? So, we use the simple past tense to talk about actions that we did in the past and are now finished or stopped. They are no longer happening now. They are history. They are done. They are completed. Right? So that's when we use a simple past tense. So if we talk about actions which happened in the past, so the past could be 1 hour ago, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, a week ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, last week, last month, 5 months ago, and so on. It doesn't matter. What matters is we use it to talk about actions that happened in the past, and the actions are finished. They have stopped. They are no longer happening. They are done. They are history. Okay, these actions are finished. So if, for example, last week I went to the mall, that's the simple past tense. Okay, it means I did something in the past. It's something that I did and I'm done. This thing is finished. I'm talking about the actions that happened in the past. They are done, they are finished, they are no longer happening. So that's simple past tense. Okay? So now that we know when we use the simple past tense, we can move to, right, the different types of sentences that, of course, we can have under the simple past tense. We are going to look, of course, at the 8 types of sentences like we did with the simple present tense. Firstly, we will look at the simple past tense positive verb sentences, negative verb sentences, yes, no verb sentences, WH verb sentences, positive verb to be sentences, negative verb to be sentences, yes, no verb to be sentences, and last but not least, the WH verb. Sorry, WH question verb sentence. Okay, so let's start with the first, which is the positive verb sentence. So the simple past tense, positive verb sentence. Okay, now, by now, you know what is a verb sentence. A verb sentence is a sentence that has a real verb, right? It has an actual verb and not a verb to be, right? It has verbs, actual verbs, real verbs, like speak, run, talk, eat, drink, dance, walk, work, talk, and so on. So these are real, actual verbs. Now here we are going to look at the positive verb sentences in the simple past tense. So the structure is as follows. So first, you need the subject. And then next, you need your V2. V2 is the simple past form. Okay? The past form. All right? So for example, if you have a verb, eat, the past of eat is ate. So that's the V2. If you have the verb speak, that's the infinitive, and the V2, the past form, the second form is spoke. Okay? And then you've got the verb talk. That's the infinitive, the first form, V1. The V2, the past form, the second form is talked. Okay? Remember, the V2 of a verb is dependent on whether the verb is a regular verb or an irregular verb. Okay? I will, of course, make a video explaining the differences between a regular verb and an irregular verb. Please be on the lookout for that video. But for now, just know that the V2 represents the past form of a verb. Okay? Now, we've got a list of regular verbs and a list of irregular verbs. So you might want to learn those two lists. After that, you've got an object. An object, of course, is a person or a thing that is getting or receiving the action from the subject. And then after that, you have other words. So that's the structure of the positive verb sentence in the simple past tense. Subject, past form of the verb, V2. Second form, then object. After that, other words. All right? So now we can do two things. We know when to use the simple past tense. And then we know the structure of the positive verb sentence. Now we can go to some exercises in which we apply this structure. Okay, let's go there. So the exercise is as follows. Change the following sentences into the simple past tense positive sentences. Change the following sentences into the simple past tense positive sentences. So we have to change these sentences into the simple past, positive, right? Sentences. And remember, it has to be verb sentences. Let's start. First sentence. Amy kick the ball very well. Okay, so what do we need to do here? It's the simple past, and it's a verb sentence because we have a real verb or an actual verb, not a verb to be. We have to change this verb from the infinitive first form, right, into its second form, V2, the past form. Now, kick is a regular verb. And therefore, what do? We just add ed at the end. So the correct sentence becomes, Emmy kicked the ball very well. Right? Let's move. The second sentence. The baby cry over nothing sometimes. Okay, so you've got a verb here, cry, which is a real verb, an actual verb, not a verb to be. What should we do? We need to remove the Y and we replace it with IED. And therefore, the correct sentence becomes, the baby cried over nothing sometimes. Next up, Mike played football every Monday last year. You've got the verb here, play. So play is a regular verb. What do? We just add ed at the end to change it into its V2 past form. Okay? And therefore, the sentence becomes, Mike played football every Monday last year. Next, I walk to work with her. We've got an actual real verb here, and it is a regular verb, and therefore we just add ed at the end of the verb, and the correct sentence becomes, I walked to work with her. Next, we drink orange juice every day. We have an actual real verb here, which is drink. In this case, drink, or rather, drink is not a regular verb, but rather it is an irregular verb. So you need to know the list of irregular verbs and regular verbs. And if you were to check your two lists, you would actually find out that drink is an irregular verb. And the past form of drink, or the V2, the second form, is drank. The sentence becomes, we drank orange juice every day. Let's move. You sing with the choir on Sundays. We've got a verb here, which is sing. Sing, if you were to check it out on your two lists of irregular verbs and regular verbs, you would actually find that it is an irregular verb. And the past, or the V2 of sing, the second form of sing, is sang. Therefore, the sentence is, you sang with the choir on Sundays. Next, they run together every morning. You've got a real regular verb here, which is run. Run, if you were to check on your two lists, is an irregular verb. And the past form, the V2, the second form of run is ran. And therefore, the sentence becomes, they ran together every morning. Okay, let's move on. Next sentence. Sarah and Tom dance very well. We've got a verb here, an actual real verb, which is regular. If you were to check on your two lists, you would realize that dance belongs under regular verbs. And therefore, it should end with ed. And to make it end with ed, we just add d at the end to form its past form, its V2 form, its second form. And therefore, the sentence becomes, Sarah and Tom danced very well. Okay, let's move. Next sentence. Sylvia and I like rice and chicken. We have a verb here, which is like. Again, if you were to check it out on your two lists, you would realize that like is is a regular verb. And therefore, it has to end with ed to form its past form or V2 form or second form. And therefore, the sentence becomes, Sylvia and I liked rice and chicken. Okay, perfect. So that's all about the simple past tense positive verb sentences. These are verb sentences. Why? Because all these sentences that we did here, they had real, actual verbs. We did not use verbs to be. We used actual verbs like sang, ran, danced, liked, and so on. All right, everyone. So that is the end of the simple past tense part 1, where we learned when to use the simple past tense. And then after that, we looked at the structure of the simple past tense positive verb sentences. And lastly, we did the exercise in which we changed our sentences into simple past tense verb sentences. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and learned as much as you could. Thank you so much for listening to this lesson. I hope to see you in the simple past tense part 2, whereby we will look at the negative verb sentences in the simple past tense. Please be on the lookout for that video. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye and take care.